My father was a taxi cab driver for a period of time in his life, and my father owned his own taxi cab service. And we lived in Brooklyn, New York at the time, and my my father had this one special client that he would take down to Wall Street and pick up from Wall Street and take him all the way back to Brooklyn every single day. This was my father's bread and butter. And he had this client for a number of years, every single working day. And this individual happened to be a gold bug at the time. Now, we're going back to the the early 1970s and the mid 1970s. Okay? And this individual encouraged my dad almost every single day. My dad picked him up. He said, Dwight, my dad was named Dwight, Dwight, you have to take $35 out of your whatever you earn every single week, and I want you to buy an ounce of gold. And he was telling my dad this since the mid to late 1960s. And he would remind my dad virtually every single day, according to the way my dad tells the story, you have to take $35 an ounce, $35 out of your pay and buy one ounce of gold. You see, before a certain period of time in American history, we were on the gold standard, and the U.S. government regulated the price of gold. It kept the price of gold stagnant in the United States at $35 an ounce. It did not move. It did not fluctuate. It was a governmental mandate that the price of 1 ounce of gold was $35. Well, this individual believed that the regulation of gold was coming to an end, and he did not know when it was going to come to an end, but he did not feel that the artificial control of the price of gold was going to be something that would last forever. And he believed that because gold was artificially held back in its price, because it was not allowed to fluctuate in a free market, if and when the government ever ended its control of the price of gold, that quite naturally the price of gold would skyrocket. Well, my dad listened, and my dad accumulated an ounce of gold every single week of his life for years. And at the end of the 1970s, as we approached the beginning of the 1980s, just as was expected, the price of gold was deregulated. This was a Nixon move, a President Nixon move. The price of gold was deregulated, and gold, the price of gold went from $35 an ounce, all right, to over $800 an ounce. And my father was completely astounded, as was my mother. And that very short act, that event of gold's price being deregulated, changed our lives again forever. And I went from living in Brooklyn, New York, to moving to New Jersey, a suburb of New Jersey. My schools changed, some of the best schools in the United States. My friends changed, my clothes changed, our cars changed, our home changed, our state changed. Every single thing changed. And I was still a bit too young to really fully understand what really happened. But I just know that everything changed, and it changed for the better. So my life changed forever at the age of 3, moving into the piano world. My life changed again at the age of 8, moving to a higher socioeconomic level in life. When I approached 15 and moving into 16, it is only then that I began to realize what changed my family's life. I began to understand that one act in the financial markets caused us from living a lower middle class life to more of an upper middle class life. That the quality of our lives changed almost forever because of one financial act. And I began to investigate this at the age of 15. I'm like, listen, if one financial act like this could have such a profound effect on my life, my parents' life, the way we lived, how we lived, where we lived, the level at which we lived, then this was something I became very interested in. What if I could do more than one act with this? This was one act one event that changed our lives like this? What if I could learn how to do this in some way and do this over and over and over again? And thus began my infatuation or my interest in financial markets, because I lived the impact that it could have on an entire family's life.